Hello, hello. Welcome back to Life is a Vibe, coming at you a little later this week, but we are on time. We are always on time. It is totally okay. I hope you guys are doing so well. Happy May. Oh my goodness. Happy May. Happy first week of May. Happy Taurus season to my fellow Tauruses. Happy May birthdays to my May babies. It is also my birthday month and I am feeling so good. I always feel good when May comes around. There's always just like such a good energy to it, I feel like. And April just like flew by and went away. But we are here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are things going? Today's episode is really going to be ushering a new era, which you might have seen in the title. It is also going to be ushering in new vibe, new energy, new series to the podcast. And I'm very excited to dive into today's episode and get it going. I've set the vibes if you're watching on Spotify or on YouTube. And so welcome to episode 18, your fulfillment era loading. We're not going to do a life update this week because I kind of just want to get into the episode. I also can feel my throat. I didn't really talk too much, but as I'm talking, I'm like, oh, okay, we're not going to force it today. So what I want you to do, let's just ground into this space together, ground into this podcast together. If you want to close your eyes, feel free to. If you want to leave them open, if you're in the car or something, feel free to leave them open. But we're just going to ground into the space and take 3 deep breaths together. So if you want to go ahead and take that first inhale in, and exhale it back out. Second one in. And exhale it back out. Last one in. Try to get everything all in and feel how full you feel. Inhale it in. Try to get some more in. One more little in. And we're gonna exhale, release everything, let it all go in 3, 2, 1. Exhale it back out. That always feels so good. Feeling great, feeling amazing. And today's episode, like I said, we're ushering in a new vibe, a new energy, a new era to my brand, Find Your Vibe Coaching, to the Adriana Simona brand. We are talking about your fulfillment era, and this is in tandem with my one-on-one coaching launch, which I'm going to save for the end, but I have rebranded my one-on-one coaching and my one-on-one offer to your fulfillment era, and I feel like it really just encompasses my coaching, everything I've learned the past 2 years as a coach, everything I've learned from my clients in the past 2 years. And, the pivot I did to a fulfillment life coach last year, I wanted something to feel kind of like significant and also like has a cute name, you know what I mean? And really just signifies what I'm here to do and what I'm here to help women with when it comes to life fulfillment and just feeling more fulfilled, feeling more present in your life, feeling like things are clicking, like things are aligning. And so today we're just going to dip our toes in. We're going to dip our toes in just a little bit. We're going to start talking about what a fulfillment era is. What does ushering in your fulfillment era look like? And I want to get to the pillars today of life fulfillment, which if you listen to the vacation episode, was probably like episode 16 or 15. That's where I debuted, the life fulfillment pillars that came to light for me while I was on vacation. So I wanted to dive into those because that's really kind of like a roadmap of what a fulfilling life encompasses. And then of course we can talk about, how to create a fulfilling life and what that would look like and how you can really start your fulfillment era journey. So this is going to probably be a couple part series here on the podcast, which I'm really excited about. And this will be the first part to it. Diving into today's topic, your fulfillment era. What is a fulfillment era? The reason why I came up with this is it really is ushering in you putting your inner fulfillment first, you putting yourself first, you putting your needs first, your priorities first, your goals first, your dreams first, whatever it may be that causes you to feel fulfilled, putting that first. And of course, this era will eventually transition to a journey, to a lifestyle. But what I really want to encourage you is for this era, however long it needs to be, if it's 12 weeks, working with me, or if it's 6 months or a year, you want to coin it your fulfillment era. And what this will really do is allow you to prioritize, that fulfills me, that fulfills me, that doesn't fulfill me, that doesn't fulfill me, and really start to create a life that feels so dang good and so fulfilling to you. And your fulfillment era could look a lot different to someone else's fulfillment era, because we are all unique beings, which means that there are a lot of different things that feel fulfilling to us. Some people do enjoy going out and having a good time. Some people enjoy staying in, you know what I mean? This idea of a fulfillment era just really started becoming really clear of what could we coin, this season that you're in, of putting yourself first, developing a better relationship with yourself, going after what you want, having so much fun and cultivating so much joy, and also just prioritizing yourself. And that is where your fulfillment era has really, really come through for me. And I feel like it can just be really symbolic of transformation and change and shifts, and just starting to say, I'm going into my fulfillment era. Do not text, do not disturb, BRB, going into my fulfillment era. You know what I mean? And it's one of the reasons why I transitioned into a fulfillment coach. It was something that just really stuck out to me, and it's something that there's not a lot of coaches in the fulfillment space. And I really wanted to bring this into, a lot of my audience and community's kind of vision is you can go to a personal trainer to get fitness help. You can go to a business coach to get business help. You can go to a mental health coach, a confidence coach. You can go to a spiritual development coach, all of these things. And what it really boils down to is, yes, we go to all of those things to get help with those goals. But ultimately, when you work with those types of coaches, it will lead to more fulfillment. So I really have been trying to root myself as a fulfillment coach and what it means to search for that fulfillment, to gain that fulfillment, to live in that fulfillment. And you can do a lot of the things with a fulfillment coach in terms of creating a better relationship with yourself, learning how to take action towards your fulfillment, learning how to set boundaries, learning how to rest, how to balance all of the things that you're doing. I've really found with my clients that I'm really good at helping people get their shit together. You know what I mean? If you've been saying, oh, I've been wanting to do that. Oh, I've been thinking about doing that. I really help motivate my clients. Okay, let's do it. Or if there's just a lot of disorganization, a lot of not taking care of yourself, I'm able to come in and be like, all right, let's pick up the pieces. Let's figure this out. Or let's get a lay of the land. Let's get a view of everything, and let's get organized. Let's get moving, and let's get things going again. Essentially, let's gain some momentum and just some action going again in your life. That way you can start to feel more fulfilled and that things are progressing. And of course, this is going to take time, right? This is going to take time. And so your fulfillment era is not just a one-day quick fix. All right, I'm more fulfilled. I'm feeling good. It is really a commitment to yourself for the long haul to put your inner fulfillment first. And what is it going to take to get that fulfillment, to feel more fulfilled and to feel excited about your life and to feel just ready for whatever is coming up next, truly. Where I want to go into is the pillars of life fulfillment that really have become more and more clear to me, that I've really been able to help my clients and my community really just dive into. And you might listen to this and you might think like, okay, yeah, I'm in my fulfillment era. I'm really vibing in this pillar right now. I'm really trying to cultivate this pillar right now. Of course, you might be working on all of them at some point. I feel like I'm working in a little bit of each of these pillars. You might be focusing on honing in on one of them, right? But these pillars of life fulfillment are going to be your foundation, right? What is your life really built on that leads to a fulfilling life? What parts of these are able to support the vision that you have for your life and what you're really working towards? And so I want to go into each of these, and I'll leave these in the show notes. I'll also post like an Instagram kind of recap too, so you can always come back to them and what these pillars really include. That way you can start to think about as you are entering your fulfillment era and really building that solid foundation to your fulfillment era. We're really going to want to come back to these 5 main pillars. The first one is going to be your relationship to yourself. I've said this time and time again that it all starts with you. If you are not good, it affects everything else. If you are not feeling okay, it impacts the world around you. If you are not putting yourself first, if you are pouring from an empty cup, it is not benefiting anyone if you're not taking care of yourself. And that really starts with the relationship you have with yourself. And coming from me, right, I did not love myself. I did not like myself. I think about it a lot, and it makes me really sad, right? That a lot of my teenage and childhood years, I was wishing I was blonde. I was wishing I was a white, blonde, blue-eyed girl, because that's all I had seen in like the TV shows and, you know, all of that media or whatever showing me, you know, Lizzie McGuire. We love Lizzie McGuire. No hate to her. But I was like wanting to be her. I was wanting to be Ashley Tisdale because I thought like if I was them, you know, I would be popular or boys would talk to me or whatever, right? And I really had to start to develop a better relationship with myself. And I had to accept I'm not white. I'm never going to be white. I'm Mexican, and I should be proud of that. And I should see that as like a very unique thing, right? And I should see that as a strength, being where I come from and my culture and everything like that. Of course, I grew up in a very white neighborhood in Arizona, so I can't really help that part, but I really had to learn to accept that like there's some things that I'm not going to be able to change. And so I have to accept those parts of me and I have to love those parts of me. And it definitely takes time. If you feel like you hear the word self-love and it just brings those icky feelings, right? At least get to a point of self-acceptance, accepting who you are, accepting yourself, and recognizing we can't change anything about, you know, how we were brought up or where we were raised or what we look like. Of course, you can change some things about what you look like, but there's certain things you really can't control or change. You couldn't really have controlled or changed. And so you really have to get to a point of accepting yourself, and that really helps to cultivate a better relationship with yourself. This will also include how are you taking care of your mind? How are you taking care of your mental health, your mindset? Are you looking after it? Do you have a healthy dialogue between yourself? I'm going to be honest. Today, I had one of those days where those thoughts were just beating me up. Those thoughts were really just getting a beat down on me. Full transparency. There's days where it happens, but then there's other days where it's like, yeah, Aid, we're doing great. We're doing all these things. And my mind used to be the other way, where it was multiple days of you suck. You're not good enough. You're not doing this right. You should be doing it this way. You're not doing it in this way. Blah, 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 blah. Right. And it's definitely taken some time. And this is going to be, I think, one of the first things that you should focus on. It's one of the first things I work on with my clients, is especially mindset, but really, what is that conversation you have with yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? Because again, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not tending to these things, it's hard for you to show up in other places. It's hard for you to show up for work. It's hard for you to show up for your friends, your family, whatever it may be. And it's kind of like a domino effect, right? And I've seen it when my clients are taken care of, when myself is taken care of, it ripple effects to the people around me. It ripple effects to my communities when I'm feeling good and when they are feeling good too. And in this relationship with yourself, you're really going to want to just like learn more about who you are, learn more about how to understand yourself and why you might think the way you think. Sometimes going to therapy might be beneficial. I've been to therapy. I'm thinking about going back to therapy because I think there are some things that, could really be helpful for me when it comes to managing stress and managing emotions and things like that. In this phase, it's going to be probably one of the hardest things because it's a lot of facing the music. It's a lot of facing the healing, facing, the challenges, facing the things you might be putting off. But on the other side to that is getting to know yourself and getting to love yourself and getting to show up for yourself and trusting yourself. And I would take all of the healing and everything that I've done just to be in a good place with myself. I would do it over and over again because I could genuinely say I have a solid relationship with myself, and I definitely I still have some work to do. There's always more work to do, but I'm definitely in a good place. And I do feel like this is one of the best first steps anyone could take to having a more fulfilled life, is to cultivate that better relationship with yourself. Another part to this that I've just been so lit up by is human design. We talked about that in a past episode. Human design has really just given me a huge permission slip to be who I am and be who I want to be, and how I can better manage my energy and myself and everything. And so that might also be a component to this pillar, is just getting to learn more about yourself as well. Moving on to the next one, we have creating your vision as the next pillar of life fulfillment. And this is something that you will be doing probably for the rest of your life. All of these pillars you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. But there will always be a vision to create. There will always be, work to be done, goals to chase, goals to complete, goals to go after, whatever it may be. And creating your vision really does lead to a fulfilling life. And it's not in the hustle culture mentality of like, you got to make $1 million, you got to do this, you got to do all that. But it's the joy in the journey of bringing something to life, of really seeing a vision come to life, seeing your goals come to life, and really just honing in on the journey of getting there and taking action, creating routines, showing up for yourself, and overcoming challenges like procrastination, unalignment, avoidance, lack of motivation, whatever it may be. And in this phase, this is where you get really excited about the vision you have and what you're really manifesting, and can just really get excited and lit up by it. And that can lead to a more fulfilled life because you have something to kind of work towards, you have something to kind of work towards and live for. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like that's all you're focused on, right? That's why we have life balance as our next pillar. But I get lit up when I do meet some goals, when I am on top of my routines, when I am seeing progress, when I do something scary and challenging. That feels really fulfilling to me. And for you, of course, this is going to look a little bit different, but how good would it feel to cross something off your bucket list, to cross something off your goals, to make your vision board happen, And I think this is one of the fun kind of things to do. And it's, of course, meaning you don't get caught up in like the hustle culture mentality, or also getting caught up in obligations, right? Because sometimes we do have to work a full-time job and make that money. But it's like, okay, what are you doing outside of that job to create your vision that can put you a little bit more forward than you thought before, right? I was working a 9-to-5 job and then also creating content for YouTube for Vibe with Aid for the longest time. And that felt really good to me because I was like, I know that there's something here and I know I'm working towards something better, right? So that could be this part where you just get really excited about, what your future could hold and what that could look like. As for pillar number 3, we have balance. And what we're really looking for here is life balance, which can lead to a fulfilling life. Feeling like we have a grasp of the different areas of our life, feeling like we have a good handle on them, or at least working on one part, maintaining on another part, and really checking in on how balanced you are in your life. And also, this is where putting yourself first is going to be very key, and setting boundaries with yourself. Because again, if you're spreading your energy super thin and you're trying to do a bunch of different things, that might be very difficult, right? If you're trying to do too many things at once, there might be some honest conversations that need to be had of setting some boundaries with the people in your life or with yourself on what you can really manage. And in this balance phase, it's definitely going to come with time. There's obviously going to be periods where you're more focused on a certain area versus another area, but this can really help create a fulfilling life when you feel like, yeah, everything's clicking, everything's working. I love what I do for work. I am killing it in the gym. I'm having solid friend and family time. I have the best boyfriend ever. I definitely have had moments of that where it's like, yeah, things are all working. Even though there's always more work to be done, things are working. And I have to trust that, right? So that is going to be our 3rd pillar. Our 4th pillar is going to be joy and play. And what is life if we are not having fun, if we are not being joyful, and if we are not playing? Like, what is life? And I talked about this before. Like, even as we grow up, do not lose that sense of joy and play. I feel like we get so conditioned to conform to like the serious adult mindset, and it's like, no, we're here to have some fun. We're here to have some joy and to play and to experiment and to really live this life. And it goes to that one kind of mindset, right? If you were to die tomorrow, if we were to die tomorrow, if this world was gone, what percentage of that did you play it super serious, and what percentage of that did you actually like let yourself live? And of course, I know there's like daily life stresses and things like that, but I think it's so, so important to find ways to cultivate joy in your life and not take life so, so seriously. I've seen it with so many people in my life. I've also taken life so seriously at some points that I always have to like snap myself out of it. And I think it's just really important to be present in your life, to let your inner child come out, to let your inner teen come out, and just do some of the things that really spark joy in you. Even if some other people don't get it, or they think that, you're too mature for that, like you shouldn't be doing that. Who cares? I will have my little squishmallows and I will have my switch, and I will keep doing that because it brings me joy. You know what I mean? And I'll keep doing like adventurous things because if it looks fun, I want to do it. You know what I mean? I'm about to turn 28 and I'm like, I still feel like I'm 22 sometimes. Like that's just how it feels. And so with this pillar, this is really the part where it's like living in your life and being in your life. And this is what can really feel fulfilling, and what can really show you like, man, life feels so, so good. And this is where you can have fun and do all the things. And to counteract that, our final pillar is rest and nourishment. And this is going to include, going easy on yourself, pouring into your cup. If you are a woman with a cycle, then you will be wanting to do maybe some cycle syncing, some cycle planning, making time for rest, and just really pouring into yourself. And this can really go hand in hand with your relationship with yourself. Like, how are you taking care of yourself and whatnot? I have definitely prioritized rest a lot more. I've also given myself grace a lot more. And I feel like I have really grown in this area. And I am super proud of myself for this. And it's definitely an area where I feel like a lot of women can really tap into and tune into, is having more rest, having more nourishment, because this world is very hustle culture. It is very like, you have to do the thing, you got to go, blah, 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 where, you know, as women, we should really be honoring our rest, and we really should be honoring our cycle, and we're not always going to feel on it, which I know can seem like a negative, but I find it to be a positive in that every month I have a permission slip to take it easy. Every month I have a permission slip to go easy on myself. And every month I have a permission slip on when it's time to push and when it's time to like, okay, we're going to do a bunch of things, right? And then of course, when PMS and period comes, it's like, okay, time to chill out. You know what I mean? And so really making time for rest and taking care of yourself, I think is always so, so critical, because we can't keep pouring from an empty cup. We are not robots. We're not meant to go, go, go all of the time. And this can really lead to a fulfilling life, because it is really just taking care of yourself and also giving yourself breaks, and also recognizing like, yes, I am human. I deserve to relax. I deserve to take a break. I deserve to not look at a screen, to not be on social media. I deserve that PTO. Like, you deserve to take that time and also just like be present and live in your life. And I feel like resting and some really solid soul nourishment really rounds out the final pillar to life fulfillment. So just to recap, we have pillar number 1, your relationship to yourself. Pillar 2, creating your vision. Pillar 3, balance. Pillar 4, joy and play. And then the final pillar, pillar 5, rest and nourishment. And so when it comes to entering your fulfillment era, maybe think about where you're at right now. Are you more so working on your relationship with yourself? Are you working on finding a balance with life? Are you kind of working on all of these in some capacity, which is totally okay? And this is really going to help kind of give you a roadmap, right? And really show you that all of these things can combine to a fulfilling life. If you're just focusing on, you know, work stuff, right? Like, of course, work can be fulfilling if you have that kind of job. But if you're just focusing on the work stuff, obviously rest and nourishment falls out of balance. Joy and play falls out of balance. Then balance falls out of balance, right? If you are working maybe a more toxic work job, then obviously, you know, your relationship with yourself might be impacted. Your balance might be impacted. So they all really work hand in hand together. And so that is why I think it's important to have a good grasp on all of these pillars and have a good gauge on where you're at with all of these as you are starting to enter your fulfillment era. And so that is it for today's episode, really going over what a fulfillment era is, going over some of these key important parts to a fulfillment era. In the next part, we'll be talking about how to start shifting into your fulfillment era. And of course, there'll definitely be multiple parts to come from this series that I'm super excited about. What we'll do, let's round out. I feel excited to pull some cards. We'll do affirmation. Let's do it for the month of May. Since I'm recording this like halfway into the week, and this will probably get posted on Thursday when you guys are listening to this. And so I want you guys to, you know, have some messages, have some affirmations for the month of May instead of your week. I am hoping to get on a better schedule, probably after my birthday. When it comes to the podcast, I don't know if you guys have a specific day you like. I don't know if I can put a poll somewhere, but if there's a specific day you guys like to have your podcast episodes, let me know. I would love to hear it. Let's see. Affirmation for May is, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, and then a note from your higher self says, for the month of May, depend on thy motherfucking self. You are the baddest bitch you know, so why do you keep second guessing yourself? Turn down the inner critic, turn up your inner queen, stop doubting yourself, start doing the damn thing. I feel like that was like really targeted towards me. I'm going to keep those out so I can keep taking a look at them. But thank you guys so much. That is it for today's episode. As I said, if you want to hop on a little longer and if you're interested in learning about working with me one-on-one, I'm just going to dive into a little bit of those details. As I've said, this is kind of the relaunch and rebrand of my one-on-one coaching, and I'm very excited to finally have this out. And this is a culmination of all of the one-on-one clients that I have worked with over the past 2 years and really developing and honing in on what do my clients get when they work with me? What happens in that? And it really is a collaborative, co-creative process that we go through together that can be very transformative. And that is what has led to Your Fulfillment Era, which is a 12-week one-on-one coaching where we will meet weekly for 60 minutes. And you will also have access to me on an app called Xoxo, which is just voice and text support, which will be outside of our sessions together. So you get to be intimate with me for 12 weeks and we will work together. And in those calls, we do like a little vibe check in on how your week was. Then we kind of do some live coaching, live tweaking, teaching, a bunch of different things. It can really go into a lot of different things depending on your needs. This is a very customizable offer that I have here. And yeah, for those 12 weeks, we'll really set the intention and we'll really get clear on what a fulfilling life looks like to you and really start to lay down the foundation and start to take some action, and you'll feel very, very supported. Some of my past clients, they've gone on to move cities, they've gone on to change jobs, they've broken up with their boyfriends, sorry. And they've really just stepped into knowing themselves and understanding themselves and accepting themselves and being like, okay, I have more confidence in myself than ever before. I know what I'm here to do. I know what I want to do, and I have the tools to essentially take me there. And what's really great in working with me is that, you know, when you do want to do something, you'll have my support and you can really just check in with me, make sure. I also do give some tough love at some points, but I really do love this work and I would love to invite you in if you're interested. I'll leave the application in the description box and the show notes and all of that. And I just love the work I do. I love the clients that I had. And this is also something we'll be incorporating human design with. So even if you're interested in learning your human design and how to integrate that, like we could definitely go into that. If you are just wanting support for whatever goals you have, that's also great. If you're wanting to develop habits and routines, like I really am just here for it, you know? And so one-on-one coaching can really cover a lot of those pillars. It can also cover, you know, business development with a coaching business, social media, whatever fulfills you and lights you up, I can coach on it. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. This is open for spring and summer, and this will be ongoing. I'll always be taking one-on-one clients. It just depends on availability. I do have 2 clients that just finished, and they're actually moving into a monthly container that is being tested right now, which I'll be excited to share that when I have more details on. But yeah, that's my little spiel. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for seeing me. If it's not a right now, it's definitely a later time. And I hope to have you then whenever it feels good to you. I feel so lucky to do the work that I do and to be in these spaces with the women that I get to be in. And I'm excited to just have more of you and to help you through your little cocoon phase and blossom into a butterfly, you know? So that is it for today's episode. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll leave some stuff in the description and show notes for you guys. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to rate, review, subscribe. My little Apple Podcast listeners, if any of you are listening, I would like some more reviews over there if possible. No pressure at all. Would love to hear from you guys if you can. I love you guys. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Do not forget that life is in fact a vibe. Bye.